Life is never straightforward, right? And we can all feel stuck. We can all feel down, unmotivated to do anything at all, whether that's from an unmotivated job or a project or unfulfilling relationship or situation. Your mood is just generally down, or you just feel like everything is against you and you're overwhelmed by duties, by family, and you simply just can't be bothered anymore. And you're lacking that get-go attitude and you feel like everything's against you and you find yourself in a catch-22 between a rock and a hard place. You want to feel good, both emotionally and mentally, but even your emotions, your body, your heart is telling you that you're sad, you're tired of the same old, and then you feel guilty because you're not doing what you need to do. You fear and worry that you're going to fall behind, that you're going to miss out on an opportunity. And because of that, as a result of that, you fall back into the patterns of unworthiness, feeling that you're just not good enough, that you can't be bothered. Well, what's the point? Feel like that you're a bad person because you're not getting back on track. And that cycle, it just never ends. It's like being on a conveyor belt that just keeps going round and round, repeating the same patterns, emotions, the same things over and over again. And all you really want to do is get unstuck, get back into the flow of things where your creativity and you've got momentum, where you feel like things are shifting and moving in the direction that uplifts you, brings you happiness, and you feel like you've got a better grip and a better hold on things in your life that brings you happiness, and things are moving in the direction that you actually like. Things that give you the sensation that life is good, it's good again. And if you're optimistic about things and the way that things are moving around you in your environment. Now, first, I want to remind you that nobody is ever up there on a high level and a high state of being, like 24/7, because that's not possible. It's not how life works here on earth in the third dimension. We may be internal spiritual beings, but we are also living here and having a human experience. And this is part of life. That said, when you do find yourself feeling stuck, feeling down, unmotivated, and you just can't be bothered, that right there is the moment for you to find your balance, the balance for you to put yourself back into the middle point, into the neutral point. Well, how do we do that? Well, the neutral state or the middle point is where we have that conscious awareness so that we are able to observe everything without reacting to what's happening, so that you can create clear and new thought pathways. Now, the key word being thought pathways, which I'll explain a little bit later on, and also so that you can shift perspectives and get back into the flow of things where things are feeling good. One of the ways that you can do this is by, and I do this when I feel stuck, uninspired, unmotivated, is to give yourself space alone. Now, the key word here being alone. And it seems easy enough, but it can be difficult and challenging at times. And when I'm talking about space, and I really do mean space alone from everything. And the thing is, we live such busy lives that there are so many distractions around us, whether that's family, partner, children, pet, neighbours, obligations, duties, your role as a person within your family dynamic, even technology, whether that's your phone, social media, or watching Netflix and a series that you need to get through. There are so many distractions, but this is a crucial step in order to get yourself back into the flow of things where you do feel inspired and optimistic about life in general again. When you allow and give yourself that space to separate from the things and the people around you, that's when you can truly listen to that inner voice and your thoughts. Only when you are truly alone, you can tap into and tune into what's bothering you. Is it something external or something within you? Perhaps it's a deep-rooted issue or a situation that needs to be resolved. For example, you might find yourself feeling stuck because you're overwhelmed with everything that's going on in your life. You've got duties, you've got obligations, you've got families, you've got a project that you're trying to get done, and your goals, your expectations are just too high. And as a result of that, you then feel sad, you feel down, you feel upset because you're unable to reach those goals and expectations that you've set yourselves. And because of that, you then feel guilty, you feel not worthy enough, and then you start to self-sabotage yourself because of all the things before that. And you can see how that thought pattern then just continues and continues because you didn't give yourself that space alone to sit with your thought patterns, and then you're unable to create those new clear thought pathways. Remember I mentioned about thought pathways earlier, and these are really, really important. Perhaps you feel overwhelmed and stuck because you're trying to control a particular situation, and you know that by doing that, you then got a better grip and a better hold of things. You can predict what's going to happen. You can Manage your emotions, knowing what's going to happen. And this is often linked to childhood trauma and childhood conditioning, where something might have happened at a young age where you felt the need to know what was going on, control your environment so that you can feel safe and secure within yourself by knowing what was going to happen. And eventually you can heal and let go of this as you evolve and grow and go through that journey of transformation, that journey of inner healing. When you tune back into yourself, when you separate yourself from the things and the people around you, that's when you can truly tune into yourself, tap into what are your thoughts in that moment, in that present moment. What are your feelings? Like right now, what are you feeling? What are your emotions? What are your emotions telling you? What are they linked to? Are they linked to something present? Are they linked to something that you're worried about in the future? Or are they linked to the past? Really pay attention to what your thoughts, your emotions, and your feelings are telling you. Really become aware of what they are. Your thoughts and your emotions are an indication of the kind of frequency you are, the kind of vibration you are. So observe when you are feeling down. Observe the quality of your thoughts. Are they positive? Are they good? Are they unhealthy and negative? Because the quality of your thoughts are a reflection of your inner emotional experience from childhood to adulthood. Only through separation we can recognize what's really going on within ourselves. Now, it doesn't have to be you locked away in a room, isolated, unless that's what works for you. And it could be while you're going for a walk, while you're taking a bath, but that's when you are alone. And it could take from a few moments to a couple of hours or to a number of days. This is your inner journey to go within yourself, to really dig deep and see what's going on. And there is no right or wrong way to do this, but it's a crucial step that you must take to go through that uncomfortable experience and to see how life-changing it can actually be for you. Journaling is also another way to do this because it gives you space to put everything that's jumbled up in here onto a piece of paper, and it gives you an opportunity to make sense of why you feel the way you do, to identify your emotions. For example, why you feel sad, guilty, disappointed because you've fallen off track and then you're hard on yourself. During these times, remind yourself that life isn't linear. It's not a straight line. It's not one long road, but rather there are ups and downs. And these are uncomfortable experiences that we need to go through. That's part of life and it's natural. But during these moments, also identify what you value, what you appreciate, what you're grateful for, what you need to heal and let go of. And also, perhaps there are habits that you need to change or areas that you need to work on. It's part of the inner journey, the inner healing process journey that we all must take when the time is right for us. Let me give you an example. A few days ago, I sat there feeling uninspired, unmotivated, and just feeling really, really down. And I was trying to get my ideas written down for my next YouTube video. And don't get me wrong, I tried and I tried. The ideas were there, they were in my head, but I just couldn't for the life of me put them down on a piece of paper. I couldn't put pen and paper. I sat there with my paper, with my pen, trying to write and articulate what I was going to do for my next YouTube video, but I just couldn't do it. And I told myself, I feel down, I'm lacking energy. It's because my child kept me up the night before. And then I eventually took a nap, which in hindsight didn't help me at all, just made me feel more confused, made me feel more bothered, and just made me feel really, really down. But the key thing is I was conscious and aware of my thoughts. I was consciously aware that I was feeling down, unmotivated. I was feeling really, really down and really, really bothered that I just couldn't get this done. And this was me creating resistance in a way. In order to become consciously aware, you need to be consciously aware of your thoughts. Now, remember earlier on when I talked about creating clear, new thought pathways. When you carve out a particular thought, then another thought attaches itself, then another thought, then another thought. And now there are emotions involved. And now that influences your actions because there are now additional moving components to that thought. And this is all to do with energy and vibration because that thought and then that thought is a reflection of that energy and that vibration that you're putting out there into the universe. That's when we introduce unnecessary resistance because all we're doing in that moment is acting from an unconscious state with little awareness and not emotionally or mentally balanced. Now I say unnecessary, but this is what really helps us grow, to evolve, and this is what helps us take us to the next stage of our life. But if you're not aware and unconscious, then you're then creating that unnecessary resistance and repeating the same old patterns and cycles again and again. through separation of people and the distractions around you, that's when you become aware. That's when you're able to get to the middle point of where you're no longer reacting to the things that are going on around you. You're able to become aware of the habits that you want to change, the thought patterns that you want to let go of, and that deep-rooted conditioning that you want to heal. Now, here's the key thing. When I was feeling down, like really, really low, and I felt unmotivated, uninspired to do anything, and it just made me feel really, really sad that I just can't be bothered. The thing is, I was conscious and aware of my thoughts, the thoughts that I was carving out. And usually I would just spiral out of control thinking, oh, I can't even bother. I'm not cut out for this. I'm not worthy. What's the point in anything? I just can't be bothered to do this. But this time I was conscious and aware of my thoughts to the point where I was aware not to have that negative internal dialogue within myself so that I won't repeat the same patterns. That's what traps you, your thought pathways. Now, just to give you a little example of my own experience, later on that day, I carried on pushing through. I pushed through that resistance. I watched some self-help videos on YouTube. I watched Joe's Dispenza. And then when I did my gym workout, and it wasn't until after I finished my training and did my cool down, I found myself standing alone in the kitchen. The children were off doing their own thing. My husband was upstairs. And in that moment, I found myself, okay, this is a moment to actually just close your eyes, to go deep within and just meditate. And it was only for a few moments that I did that, but it was very valuable to me. And that's what I mean. It doesn't have to be a number of hours. It could be anything from a few moments to anything else. And as I stood there for a few moments with my eyes closed, I was able to observe my thoughts truly within myself. And I was able to visualize and connect with the source, become one with consciousness. And that actually gradually made me feel a little bit happier. It uplifted my spirits. And it got me back to that neutral point of satisfaction, a satisfaction of where I was and what was happening around me. Then a little bit later on, I then played with my youngest just before her bedtime, and that uplifted my spirits. It gave me that feeling of good because I found satisfaction and joy of being present in the here and now. And this was then gradually getting me back into the flow of things. The resistance was going away, and this was helping me raise my vibrational frequency. And when you do this, you might feel calm. You might feel the light rising within you as you elevate your emotional level of consciousness. And this is you getting yourself back to that middle point, that neutral point, finding the balance between the ups and the lows. And that's where you're able to acknowledge the satisfaction of the things that are around you within your reach. And you can only do that when you're present in the here and now. Once you start paying attention to everything that you do, you'll realize that everything that you do is a reflection of your energy and vibration. And then you can then better control your point of attraction. You raise your vibrational frequency and everything starts to shift and change in the direction that you desire. In that moment, when you've given yourself that space, you go and reach for the things that bring you satisfaction. Go and be present in the moment of here and now. Go and do things that bring you joy, the satisfaction of just being in that moment. And that could be anything that you want that brings you that satisfaction, anything that gets you back into that middle point, that neutral point of willingness, of acceptance, of courage, that allows you to shift your vibrational frequency gradually and slowly. And then you can then able to become aware of what is going on around you, move your point of attraction, and start to align yourself to the things that bring you joy and satisfaction. And then you can start to see things shifting and moving in the direction that you actually want. Everything that you do is energy and vibration, and this is you getting yourself tuned in and tapped into that feeling of good, willingness, acceptance, neutrality, courage. And when you do that, you get tapped into that energy of inspiration, and that's when your point of attraction shifts. Then you're vibrationally able to pull and match things, events and circumstances into your life. Whereas if you focused on the lack, you're constantly feeling down, feeling like that life is really against you and what's the point in anything, feeling down, stressed out, overwhelmed, then you're constantly creating that ball of resistance, and that is what you're emitting out into the universe, and that's what you're then attracting back. That's what then keeps you in that resistance holding part of your body and your brain, your energy and your vibration. But by becoming consciously aware, where you're able to get yourself to that middle point, that neutral point where you can observe without reacting, without letting yourself get dragged out of your vortex and down into a dark place. That right there is a key moment, the key to your transformation, the turning point to your transformation. Now, it takes patience, it takes time, and it takes practice. Believe me, I know. But It's really, really important that you do this for yourself, for your inner healing journey, meditating, journaling, going for a walk, grounding yourself often. This will all help, and it's all part of the process. Clearing yourself of other people's energy, it's all part of the process, but you need to be patient and give yourself that time and space to do that. Now, there's nothing wrong with feeling down, but the difference is, are you aware of it? Are you aware of your thoughts and emotions? In particular, the quality of your thoughts. Sometimes we have to go through crap, and that's just the way life is. But even then, eventually, are you able to bring yourself back to that awareness of what is going on around you, shifting your mindset, healing and letting go of things, meditating, whatever it is that allows you to bring yourself back into alignment? Giving yourself that space to be alone, that gives you that insight, that deeper introspection into your thoughts and emotions, that gives you that clarity so that you can then get back into the flow of things. The key thing to remember is that you can't control the external, the people, the situation, or whatever's going on around you. But what you can do is by giving yourself that space to separate yourself from all the distractions and all the things around you, all the different energies around you, by giving yourself that alone space, time. That's a key thing. And through that, you can journal, you can meditate, you can really become aware of the things that are value to you, of the things that bring you satisfaction and joy. Because in that moment, you can control the direction of your thoughts. You can carve out those clear, new thought pathways. And this video right here can help you along that journey as well, because it will allow you to not only work through those elements, but also allow you to increase and raise your vibrational frequency. Now, the final thing that I want to leave you with is that if you do find yourself feeling down, unstuck, and unmotivated, just remind yourself that this is the universe's way of throwing you a lifeline. A chance for you to create that time and space so that you can then let go and release the unnecessary baggage that you can't carry with you to that next phase, that next stage of your life. During those times, it's also best to remind yourself and to focus your attention on what is working well for you rather than on the opposite and then the lack, because all you're doing is then getting accustomed to those uncomfortable thoughts and patterns. And just remind yourself and just say to yourself, repeat to yourself, all is well. I just need time. I just need time to work through whatever I'm going through and not to be too hard on yourself. So guys, I hope you found value in today's video. Please like and share this video so that it can reach other viewers as yourself as well and help others as well. Let me know how you're feeling in the comments down below. Have a great day. Much love. Namaste.